itself. Too hard. Okay. Once you've done that, put it back on your model. And one of the reasons why you have these particular models, so you can copy the anatomy from the other one when you wax it. Okay, so you don't have to be creative. And by the way, like she mentioned, these models were created by Ricky, and it took quite a bit of work. Once you have the dye back on the model, make sure that it's flush on the back, that it's not lifted. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a very high cusp or marginal ridges or something like that. Okay, then you try to bring your contacts first. So start adding your contacts. Until that one cools off just. You have an opposing model? You have the opposing model of this? Mm-hmm. No, that's...
Opposing?
Yeah, the lower.
That's the upper that you're working on right now. Oh, sorry. Will you grab it off my desk?
It's okay. We're just gonna show you how we build it. It doesn't really have to be into, you know, an opposing model. Okay, once you have covered, you brought it into a contact, right there, that'll determine your mesial and distal marginal ridge with the adjacent tooth. Okay? Then you start building your buccal cusp. Look at it this way. When you're building, you gotta build it to the same height as the other one. Okay? So what I do is this wax is too hot. Ricky?
Yeah.
How high you keep this? It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot. You can do like number 3, and then just press quick heat, and it should cool it down. If you want like a smaller tip too.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
It's too hot.
That's nice.
Fernando, how long does it take you to, and Ricky, how long will it take you to wax up a tooth in the lab?
Ricky's the one who does all
15 minutes.
So you pretty much build it like that, okay? You build the cusp. This thing is too pretty hard. Okay, the height, you can see it. Okay, now you go to your lingual cusp. See, if you control the temperature on your waxer, you have a better control of your waxing. See, when the wax was still pretty hot, when the wax was pretty hot. The waxer is pretty hot. It's hot here. Huh? The wax start running all over. Okay? See, it's easy to control. So I got it at 180. Every waxer is different. It's Ricky's waxer.
What's the lowest temperature at which the wax will melt?
About 165, 160.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, after I have it like that, then I will connect with the marginal ridge. And then what I'm going to create is from this buccal cusp, I'm gonna create this marginal ridge, this area here like that, connecting with the adjacent tooth. Okay, you see that? Okay, then I go to the distal cusp. Now, let's go to the lingual. Okay, now, initial lingual cusp. Okay, now, once you have it like that, turn the model around. You kind of created already the outlines, these lines. Okay, connected. Oh, excuse me. It's hot in here?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the windows are open.
Then you create your buckle contour. Always, when you're building your wax, look at the buckle contour of the crown and just follow that. See, it needs a little bit of height. And then connect them. Okay. See how you create it?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Then, just connect the mesial, buckle, labial, fill it up. And the distal. You can actually fill that up the lingual as well. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of switching back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can see it better.
Yeah.
Once I created that, I will pull the die out, okay? And you can see where your contact is. See that area? So I'm just gonna fill it up all the way around. Hope so. I know I need a light.
You do?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay.
That might work. Yeah.
How about that one?
Oh, yes. There you go.
Oh. Oh. Now,
There you go.
oh, fantastic. Now I can see. Now, I filled out the buckle inclines.
The light is horrible for people to see on the screen.
Oh, you can't see on the
you
screen?
can see it? Okay. It's okay.
Sorry. Can you turn that on?
It's fine. It's fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it back in here. See if I didn't mess up the contact area. Okay?
Bless you.
Now I'm going to fill that up the marginal ridge. That area. And then if I'm modifying my shape, how much I need it on the buckle cusp. Is it visible? A little bit more. So most of you guys are from the first year?
Yeah.
Who's your teacher?
Dr. Mendoza.
Oh, that guy? Where's the work?
Sorry.
We've been working with him since he graduated from school.
Wow.
Yeah, many years. Did he tell you the stories about biking together?
No, do you want to tell us?
Oh, we bike every Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah. Hangover, no hangover. Don't tell him that.
You're being recorded.
He's a good biker. Yeah, he's a good biker. Like he's a better fisherman. Okay, now I'm gonna just fill this area, the buckle cusping here. And I'm gonna now this is just like we call it a gross view that, and then we modify it from that area. How much we're gonna need to add it in certain areas, and start contouring the anatomy. Now, Ricky brought my tools. Actually, Ricky, you should have do the bicuspid instead of me. He's a better carver. He carved beautifully, anatomy, beautiful anatomy. Ricky does all the waxing now. I hardly do any. So, how many units you do a day? A lot.
Like 8 or 10? 8 to 10?
Finish. Then what you do, you start carving the buckle cusp. Okay. This is what I'm trying to show is when you start carving, look at from one side and try to follow the contour of this other crop. Okay? That's what I'm looking from the top. And I guide myself. Don't put that much wax so you don't have to be taking it out. Okay? The same thing on the lingual. Okay? It's a little bit too much wax in here. You can tell. Cut it. Take it away. Now we're gonna start creating your primary grooves.
Yeah.
So the tip, this tip and this tip are the ones you have to create. So you put 2 dots in there, okay? And then just from the tip of your buckle cusp, start cutting down, and start carving. Okay? Then you go from the tip of your incisal and go to the distal. So now the same thing on the lingual. From here. Same thing over here.
You know, after a while you start making your own tools, like you make your own custom tools, like you want something that like looks around. This sharp edge on one side, dull edge on the other side. You start like using your order wheel, start like dulling like some areas.
Now this just a gross part of the anatomy where you're gonna create your anatomy. Okay? Can you see that? Now.
It's called a blue dolphin.
And I'm going to create a buckle implant cusp. Do you guys have the same instruments that we use over here? Everybody's got that. Then we got on the lingual and we part the other.
Yeah, because it looks like
You just made this truth from memory.
you know why.
You
Yeah.
didn't even look at the cast.
So many years. Let me just take this out from
Yeah, you can move my ugly one. It's okay. I already got signed off on it, so it's cool.
First one, I'm super tired. I gotta catch my second one.
You what?
I had a good one.
Oh no.
I got signed off, so it's the hit today. Yeah, started working. It was good once.
So when you make it pretty, do you just use more wax and kind of smooth it out?
Yeah, smooth it out.
Versus-
Yeah, right now I'm creating a little bit of thickness around the margin area.
Okay.
Let me explain it to you something. See how natural teeth they it's got this buccal cusp. It's got an inclination towards the tissue. See where the tissue ends, the CEJ?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bulkiness in here. There's a little bit bulkier. You probably don't notice it, but as you go along, you're gonna study more anatomy. Every single tooth got that. This is to deflect the food. That's a natural, you know, anatomy of the tooth. So that's the purpose of that, and that's what I'm trying to create. The same thing on the lingual, just slightly. Okay? So you can pass this around. We're still gonna modify a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah, Max. Number three. Number three.
Yeah. My number 5 has already been checked off. But this one.
Now you can get it checked off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ricky, you do you.
I'll give you some extra credit points, some extra anatomy.
It's a Die Hard nerd. It smells like vinegar.
Yeah, what is, I mean, I don't know what it is.
Isn't it like
super
nail
glue.
polish?
It's like super glue. Super glue does the same thing. Super glue does the same thing as dry hardening. But it does like protect your model. Like if you do drop it, at least it'll be a little bit protected. That it won't crack. Or if it does break, it'll like stay together because it's like super glue. So it kind of helps you out. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, so my hands are a little shaky. So usually, like I'll dip this into a like a pot that has like melted wax. That'll just give me like a perfect coping. Instead of like doing it by hand, sometimes by hand you get like a void. You know, sometimes you know you'll get like a bubble inside from not dipping it. So I like having like a pot and just with melted wax, and I'll dip it. And I'll have like a perfect coping that doesn't have any voids or anything. But this way, you know, it's you just have to be a little bit more careful. So I'm gonna start.
So you guys are what, at 200 or?
Yeah, I like this one. I like being at like 250 because it kind of runs a little bit cold. I like it hot. And then what I like to do, I'll just like blow on the wax, or put my finger on the wax to cool it down faster, so I can just keep it moving and like keep it like just like progress because it takes too long to dry. So I'll just go around and make the coping. I also like to make like a little pool. so it's easier to pick up the wax, and you don't bend your tool as well. Like you'll bend this tool, any like hot piece, you'll bend the tip, and you know those tips are like $30, $40. So I like making a little pull like in the wax, just so it's easier to pick up the wax and apply the wax.
So you make the pull so that the tip doesn't get bent?
Yeah, so it's like it's soft and it doesn't like you don't push down on the wax every time. So by having a little pull, like it's very soft, you can just pick it up and you pick up, you know, like a portion of the wax. So after I make a little coping, I'll start with my contacts to get the proportions. So I'll make a very quick coping. And you know, if you want to be aesthetic, like I wouldn't recommend using like the big tip. You know, after you kind of have like a rough buildup of the tooth, I like switching it to like a very fine tip, you know, or thin tip. You can get a lot more detail. Okay, so I will start with the contacts. So I'll make my little pull again.
I can tell you something. He's probably doing that like freaking psychic work.
Okay, so I'll start with the first contact here. Start from the marginal ridge. And just go straight to the top. And just put your finger on it just to cool it down a little bit.
No.
Another good piece of advice that one of my teachers told me, keep your wax and your instruments very close to each other. Like you see how close everything is here. So when you apply wax, it's not like you're over here and you're applying like this. Anything that saves you time will save you a lot of time. And like just keeping it close.
It's a good tip.
Yeah, it's,
I waste so much time.
that'll save you in a 3-hour session.
Yeah. Okay, so now after I kind of roughly did the contacts, I'll push it out and I'll refill the contact. So he's kind of filling all these voids just straight to the margin at an angle, like a 45-degree angle, and just fill it up. You could, like, it's fine if you do it a little bit extra. It's just going to get pushed out anyway, and you'll get like a nice contact. Afterwards, just do the same thing to the other side. So now I have two contacts, and then I'll start filling the 1/3, the gingival 1/3, and I'll float it, and I'll just melt everything together. And I do this at a 45-degree angle because everything on these posteriors is like all angles and illusions, and shadows. So if you gotta create all these, it's a little bit easier to start from the gingival, fill it up like contact to contact, and then after it's filled up and it's kind of even with the partner, I'll move to the third, the middle third. So now we have built up. I'll do the same thing to the lingual side now. And I'll do the same thing, contact to contact at a 45-degree angle. Fill it all up. And smooth out everything. And then I'll do the middle clip as well.
Oh yeah. Butter. Yeah, they're around.
So after I build, pretty much the body of the tube, I like to switch the tip to like a smaller tip, because that's when we're going to do the cones, and we're going to do all the anatomy. This one is a little bit colder, so I raise it up to like 250 at least.
So do you do the same thing, like gentle to the occlusal for maxillary teeth, mandibular teeth as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
do the same thing, same steps.
Okay.
So you get your contacts and you build up your crest from there.
Cool.
So if we don't have an opposing, do we? No?
Yeah, we do. It's on my desk right there. Will you grab it, Helen, please? Yeah. Yes. The one that I think he wants, the one that has all the teeth though.
Oh, he wants
Get-
that.
Oh, do you have it? Yeah.
Yeah, the one that has it. Yep.
That's the one. Yep. Mandibular.
Yeah, that's the one,
That's the
Helen.
one.
Thank you. So let's check. Let's see how we work. So as you can see, we have like a good millimeter right now of space, like from our opposing tooth. So let's put some separator over here. There's two ways I like to get my a reference, like from my opposing cast. Like I'll show you really quick. You guys want to learn a quick way, or you want to show like which way you guys want to learn? Like the quickest way, or
Quickest.
What's
quicker?
the other way?
What's the? I mean, what's quick and like hard to replicate?
There's just an aesthetic way, like doing it slowly and like building the cusp, where there's a really fast way. There's like two ways you can do it.
Let's do the fast way because
Yeah.
we've never
Fast way.
seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Alright, let's switch steps.
Yeah,
this is
Just
gonna
turn it in.
it's gonna be faster, so.
I mean, during test case.
Okay. So like when you wanna get a fast occlusal for your wax, I sometimes will fill. I kind of made like a plateau on top, like I made the body already, the 1/3. So now we just need, the top 1/3. So what I like to do, I'll put like a little bit of separator on my fingers, both sides. Put it like to make it like a wall. And then I'll get some into my little swimming pool that I got going. So I'll start filling this and making a little swimming pool on top here, and it's just so I can just get a kind of warm wax. Like it's not going to be fully melted, but it's not going to be fully cooled. So it's going to be like in that cooling stage that's still soft. So I'll fill this up as much as I can without it like overflowing. And you'll see like compared to your tooth next to it, you'll see the fossa. So you can't put too much wax. It has to be in proportion that it's going to flow everywhere. But it'll give you a really nice occlusal table. And you'll see like you see how I kind of like dip in the middle to make it soft. If it's hard, it's not going to go all the way down. So I grab my opposing, and as you can see, it's still kind of shiny. So I'll just push down on it. You can see like how it captures. You see how I push down? It goes.
Why didn't we do this?
Little things that'll save you time.
Is that for only like the molars?
You can do it with the bicuspids as well, just on anterior teeth. So now we have our fossa, we have our first fossa. That's going to be our middle point. So this is going to be our main fossa, and you can mark it. That's going to be our introduction. That's going to be this fossa. Second fossa, we can put it like right here. And the third one, we can put it right here where the little indentation is from the opposing.
Can you show it really quick?
Push it.
Can you show the occlusal?
How it looks? You guys
Yeah, we
you
just
can look.
can't see it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Does that burn your fingers?
The dye loop kind of cools it, so it's
Okay.
kind of like 50-50. Like it hits it, it's like, it's not too bad. It's
Okay.
like,
Just a little tingle.
yeah, it's not. You're not gonna die.
Do you still need the lens?
No.
Okay.
It's in the right place.
My eyes are really bad.
Yeah, I can't see it even though it's that close.
It's fine. If you guys want to see it, you guys we can take breaks. I'm fine.
No, this will be a lot closer, like zoomed in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So now that we have kind of our occlusal table, now I'm kind of just smooth everything out. I'll smooth everything out with the very hot tip, and then I'll switch it to the thin tip just to make my cusp. So I'll just smooth this what we added here. Just smooth it out. You know, like the goal, honestly, when you're waxing is to just use your wax instrument, not even use your tools at all. It's only just to smooth the wax. But of course, it takes a lot of practice. You know, I still can't do it with just the wax tip. But like my teachers, I'll see them; they'll just use the wax tip and they'll keep melting everything and shifting and smoothing everything with the wax instrument. It's very impressive. I was like, it takes years, I guess, to do, but it's always like you should have that in your mind. Like try to do everything with your waxing instrument. Okay, so with my small tip, I like to start creating the tips, and I'll just like follow this tooth, like the one right before. Also try to create like a really nice line angle, and I flow the hot tip, and I try to make it go into the gingival. Like I create this line angle right here, and I try to create it to go into the gingival.
I think so. Is it okay?
And I start making the first cusp. What I'm looking at here is like trying to make like a heart, just like this one. As you can see, there's like a heart right here. Try to create this kind of like heart shape. It looks like a heart. So the nicer the heart you make, the nicer crown you make. I'll try to create the line angle back here too, at a like 45-degree angle. I like going at a 45. You'll see as time goes on, like all this is all shapes and degrees, angles, illusion. All it is. And always kind of fill up the belly as well. The nicer belly that you have, the nicer crown you have.
No, it's working on the street. There's no one behind me.
You can see how we kind of created like a lip right here. So we try to fill it up. Also like at a 45-degree angle, just taper it straight into the margin.
Do a 45-degree angle, I just do like a 90-degree angle, and like everyone's like that.
here if you can see better.
Yeah.
I stole your spot, huh?
Oh, no worries. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
No, take that.
You move your feet, you lose your seat.
How's Thursday?
Little clip.
I know, I never heard of that.
You never heard of that?
We have a Russian saying, I know that one, but I don't know.
Do you want to know that?
I'm
It's a long
curious.
one. You want to hear it?
I know you tell me.
Бабушка стала, место продала. Дедушка пришел, мясо нашел.
What did you say?
Basically, Grandma got up, lost her seat. Grandpa came, found a seat.
Like it?
I'm gonna start carving this too. So I want to like build it like maybe 25% bigger because I want to have that 25%. So when I start carving back, it'll just kind of become like what I want it to be. So I build it up a little bit bigger, like, and I say like 25%. So you don't make it the exact size that you want it to be, because you'll just go into this back and forth, adding and subtracting, adding, subtracting. So if you just add a little bit more and just try to subtract it, it usually kind of equals out a little bit better than just keep adding, and then even feel like take too much and then you have to add again. So I always try to add just a little bit more. So you see how it's bigger than this one by a little bit. It's not much. I'll try to make it just a tad bit. Okay, so let's see which tools we got. Okay, so I like to create my line angles first, and when I create a line angle, the best way I can explain it is like looking at your fingernail. If you ever look at your fingernails, there's a lot of lines on them, right? You gotta look at your friend's fingernails, and there's it's if you like kind of turn them, you can see all these little lines. It's not perfectly round. There's lines that create a circle, so it's very kind of hard to explain. But line angles have the same concept as your nails. So you have to start creating. Do you have a piece of paper?
You found one too.
Okay, so when I create, I'll show you a central because it's.
Oh yeah, that one's probably
Okay. This is. I can draw a little bit bigger. So I'll show you an essential because the central has more line angles. So this is the crown, and so this would be the line angle for the crown. The way I would do like the line angles, it'll be separated like in 3 different spots to make it look pretty. So you also have to divide the crown in 3 spots. This will be, the gingival area will be down here, and you would have to divide it into three zones. So this zone would be the middle zone, and instead of just rounding it, I'll put a line right here, and I'll divide those 2 zones, and I'll shade this zone by itself. Like I'll shade this zone, and that's like me carving with my tool. And I'll have that, and I'll create this line by splitting this zone into 2 zones. And that's how you start creating like a roundness to your crown. It's not making it round, it's kind of making an illusion. That's what you're trying to do. And that's why it's so hard to do, like making line angles. That's why you see them, and it's just hard to make in the first place. So I'll try to divide the crown into 3 zones. So this would be our top zone right here. This would be our bottom third right here. So everything from this line down, I would go at a like 45-degree angle, and I'll taper it. And by making just these 3 zones, it also gives your crown like a nice proportion to it. It'll have a perfect third proportion, like gingival, middle, and top. So I'll do the middle next, and I'll go parallel, like flush, and then I'll do the top. But also, by making, it won't be straight across, it'll be kind of like a cone shape.
Because you're trying to keep that groove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I'll start making the line angles. So all this will kind of implicate how I was doing this. I'll draw it out. The line angle is going to be right here. This is the line angle I'm creating. That's the line. Now I'll make another line right underneath it. So now we have 2 lines. We have this line and we have this line. So I want to keep them separate, and I'll look at where my 1/3 is at, and I'll just go straight into the margin with the line I created. I have this other line. You guys can see this other line I created right here. You guys can take a look. Like, see how I did it very aggressive, but this would be like all in your head, thinking like there's two lines. You can see where I made my main line angle, and then from there I kind of try to hide the rest of the line angle.
It reminds me of in art class how you draw the grids or something, and then you
kind of shadow, and you start shadowing. It's like the same concept. It's like you're trying to shadows by doing like a line and then another line. It creates a shadow, so it gives it a third-dimensional look to it. And that's like the whole goal. It's like to do that shadow. But it's so hard to do it. It's I'll probably have to do it 3 or 4 times to get it right on the money. Maybe if I do it now, it might work. I might have to add and do it again just to get it. But it's the whole concept to it. But this is making it super aesthetic, making it look real natural too.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I didn't think of it.
Are you going to keep working? I think I'm going to stay till 9.
So with those 2 lines, I'll start playing around with this. So now you can see how it's it gives it a little bit of an illusion, and our line angle is created. Now we have a nice line angle, but also you can continue the line angle and kind of curve it into a heart, and you can kind of start shaping our line angle. After, I think this is fun. I'll smoothen the whole line angle very gently. I'm not putting much pressure. It's just to smooth. And I'll go to just the one half of our first cusp, and then on the other side I'll round the other side to the middle. I'll divide them right in the middle. So I'll tuck it in from the middle to same thing to the other side. I'll do the same thing. I'll kind of